Hi, folks. This is Rob Rains with Wicked Easy IT, and I'm here with Stephen Wallace with Living Legacy Financial Group. We'll be doing sharing an interview today. Steve, how you doing?
Hey, Rob. I'm great. How are you? Good to see you.
Super. Good to see you as well. Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself personally.
Let's see, where do I start? I'm not great at, just openly talking about myself. So let's see here. I was born in a little town outside of Chicago called Downers Grove. So to most people that I speak to, I just say Chicago.
Okay.
It's more recognizable, but I lived there until I was about 3 when my parents packed up and moved out here to the East Coast to Franklin, Massachusetts, where I stayed there until I was about 24. During that time, I was actively involved in my church, skied a lot during the winter, played soccer, basketball, tried to get involved in my community, and just put down some local roots in Franklin, Mass. Nice. It's a great town. I miss it very much. Don't live there anymore. I live in Billerica, Massachusetts now. Went to college at Fitchburg State College, majoring in education with a minor in English, because that just the desire to educate it's a passion of mine, to educate people and help people. I love that. And what I realized in my time at Fitchburg State was that though I love to teach, I don't necessarily need to be dubbed a teacher to do that. So I took some time off and refocused myself and tried to determine what I wanted to do for a few years, and went back to school at Eastern Nazarene College School of Business, where I got a degree in business and marketing, which kind of led me to where I am today. It gave me a real passion and appreciation for small business and what small business has and the implications a small business has on the local economy and community. And that's where I was given a new opportunity to teach in the profession that I have now. So that's a little bit of my history. Aside from that, kind of chronological trajectory, I enjoy meeting new people. I love working with people. I have a passion for education. I enjoy hosting, cooking, mixing a good cocktail for people, and enjoy a good sports game like everybody else.
Absolutely. Oh, that's
great. About me.
That's great. That was one of the first things that struck me about you when I met you, was that you love people, that you enjoy meeting people and getting to know and sincerely delving into what's important to people. And that's a great quality.
Thanks. Likewise, by the way.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about what you did before Living Legacy, and how did you get started with Living Legacy?
Right. Good question. So I came up through health markets. That was my first insurance and finance job. Cut my teeth, old school, going door to door, knocking on doors, walking into businesses. And it's great. Really taught me how the value of hard work. What I realized is the products that I was offering, the services that we're offering, were so much more important than simply let's talk about deductibles and cost. So what I realized is I'm here. I'd like to be here, and I had to make a change. So I took positions with Core Benefits Group and then Massachusetts Mutual. Mass Mutual for the reason that their products were financial centric, protecting large scale financial plans for the future, not simply a health insurance plan or a supplemental disability plan, like bigger things, because these are really important decisions that people are making. And I loved it there. I learned a lot, but it just didn't meet quite what I was looking for as far as plucking my heartstrings. The philosophy wasn't what I was looking for, to be honest with you. And not long after I I was recruited and found, Living Legacy Financial Group in my life. And Living Legacy Financial Group is a great combination of everything I look for. It's a family-owned, independently operated firm in Danvers, Massachusetts. Their financial planning style is the same as what I believe what my philosophy is in financial planning. Great people. There's opportunity for advancement. They're innovative. They're backed by large companies. It's a great mix of many worlds put together. So
awesome. That's super. So you mentioned that their philosophy, their financial planning philosophy, really meshed with yours. Help me understand the difference between their financial planning philosophy and, say, a typical financial planner's philosophy.
Right. So yeah, good question. And so what I want to do is be really, really clear that everything I'm about to say here is purely constructive and somewhat of an aggregation of what I've noticed in the financial services industry over the past 30 years or so. So there have been conversations with clients, and they're powerful, amazing conversations. But sometimes, a lot of the time, they get reduced down to numbers. And what I mean by that is, hey, Rob, let's talk for a second. How much, you said you're looking to, make your money more powerful for you, work for you. How much money out of your income would you be willing to invest on a monthly or annual basis? And how much money do you think you'll need when you retire? And right off the bat, that conversation is number centric.
Okay.
It's purely numbers. And even if the numbers that we discuss are 100% accurate, what we haven't taken into account are the things that happen to almost everybody. We have to look at things that happen to everybody and factor that in to the numbers that we just talked about. So we take a step back and we're saying, if we're going to talk about numbers, we have to get to what's behind the numbers, the why. Everybody has something that's important to them. So we don't go into numbers right away. Let me ask you something, because I've been talking for a while now. I'll send it back at you, okay?
Okay.
What's important to you?
My family's the most important to me. Immediately, my wife and my children, and then being able to both provide for their needs as well as give them opportunities to develop their gifts and talents and develop their passions. I think those are my things that are immediately important to me.
Yeah. So that's awesome, right? And so to me, it's very the same. You're in a position in life just a tad beyond me, but mine's very similar. I want to leave my family very well off, and I want my family's family to be well off, my great grandkids, right? Sure. And I want to cultivate from their beginning all the way through adulthood into the end of the circle of life. And it sounds like that's what is important to us, but people have different variables, right? What's important to you and me might be unimportant to somebody else. Everybody has something that's important to them, though.
Sure.
And we have to have a conversation about that. Some people might want to be charitable. Some people might want to give to their family. Some people might want to retire incredibly well off and sail around the world. Who knows? The question is, we're here and you're trying to get here.
Right.
And there might be one day between these 2 points. There might be 35 years or more. Who knows? But something's going to happen between this point and this point over here that decreases the chance of ever getting here.
Right.
And we call those risk factors. And the long story short to your great question is, what's different about us is that we're going to take into account the effects of those risks, and we're going to try to wipe them right off the table.
Okay.
So there are great things that happen in life, like weddings, kids, right? Those cost a lot of money, and we can help you plan for those. But those have a date on the calendar. Right. August 19th, 2035, I'm having a kid. Great. Or you can plan for it, right?
At least 9 months in advance. At least 9 months in advance.
Bad example. You're having a child, or you're getting married. You can put those things on a calendar. But what you can't put on a calendar is August 19th, 2035. My income was removed from me for the rest of my life because I got hurt, or God forbid we lose a loved one and we lose their income for the rest of their lives. That conversation has never existed in the history of financial planning. It doesn't exist because you can't have it.
Right.
So we take a step back and we create levels of plans based on 4 steps. We protect against the unforeseen risks that can happen between here and here. We help you save for the things that you can't protect against with insurances. Create liquidity, because one actually creates the next. Savings create liquidity. liquidity. And then, believe it or not, paying off debt, excuse me, is the last step.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. So that's what separates us from everybody else.
Awesome.
For you, Rob. Sorry.
No, quite all right. You shared with me a story about your grandparents that fueled your passion for this particular path of service. Can you share that with those in the audience?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for asking. So, hello, audience. This is a little bit of a personal anecdote, and this really weighs into who I am as a person and why I'm in this industry. So, my grandparents are heroes of mine. They're still with us, which is amazing. And my grandfather was a successful business owner. He fixed cars, mechanic. He owned the shop. He knew he was on the up and up of every single new technology as it came out. So he had to be on his game as far as knowing the automotive industry, which is pretty impressive at the time, Yeah. Because vehicles were becoming more and more and more accessible, affordable. So he had to know what he was doing. And that success in business never actually connected to long-term financial freedom or success. And the need for money caused my grandparents to be stuck in a reverse mortgage for an exceptionally long period of time. And a reverse mortgage, instead of you paying the bank pays you. It's the shortest summary I can give of what a reverse mortgage is. But the problem was in 2008, the housing market collapsed. They lost value in their home at the same exact time. And in addition, they were in their mid to late 70s at that time. So they couldn't even maintain the home. So they had lost value in the home because it wasn't kept up. They lost value of the home just because of the crash itself. And they could no longer afford to sell the home at true value, and they had to short sell. And heroes of mine are now living in government assisted housing in a situation that is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so my mission isn't to say that reverse mortgages are bad. That's not my point. My point is their advisor never called them back. And they weren't presented with many viable options along the way to get them out of the situation they were in. And this is a heartstring of mine, a passion of mine if I can just create one outcome better than that, I will have done my job for my life, let alone for a year. So it's a big part of who I am. No
doubt. Okay, Steve. So that's great. That gives us a kind of a better understanding of why you do what you do. Let me ask another question. So listeners in the audience here or those watching, what reasons or questions would a prospect have that would cause them to call you? What might be going through the mind of someone in the audience that would where they should be that should prompt them that, hey, you're the guy that they need to talk to? Why would they work with you?
Got it. Okay. Great question. Okay. So let me start with the human element. I understand that this might not be the most thrilling thing. Some people get excited about it, like I do. I geek out over this stuff, but I understand. I'm most of the time when the conversation is steered towards finances, people don't love the idea of spilling their financial guts onto the table. But let me assure you, I'm one of the least judgmental and most open people you'll meet. My job isn't to judge. My job is to have an amazing, powerful conversation with you, get to know you, appreciate who you are, and propose changes clinically. A comparison would be a doctor looking at an x-ray. He sees up on the x-ray, oh, there's a broken bone right there. You need to fix it. Let's put a cast on it. Clinical advice. Cast it, come back in, I don't know what the great time frame is here, but 6 to 8 weeks, I don't really know what that time frame is. Okay. I've been lucky to never have broken a bone, but the advice is clinical. I'm not sitting back and saying, the heck is your problem? Why did you break your leg? What were you doing? That's not my job. And I think that's a reason to work with me, is because this might be harder for you to talk about than it is for me. I'm not going to sit there and judge you, right? My job is to improve, optimize, and help you prioritize as much as possible. That's the human element.
Right.
The numbers and planning element is come work with me, because together we're going to take all the risks that life can throw your way off the table.
Okay.
You're going to be provided with a more secure, confident financial plan that saves more money, reduces taxes, and gives you a retirement plan that you don't have to worry about. It's going to be there. We'll deal with everything, as I've done this a couple of times this interview. We'll do everything from here all the way to here, everything in between, and you'll feel confident about it. And if you don't feel confident about it, that's fine. You can take the advice I give and go work with another advisor. At least I know I tried.
Okay. That's great. And then as we talked beforehand, you had mentioned rate of return. Can you tell the audience something a little bit about rate of return?
Sure. Yeah. Actually, I've kind of alluded to this at the beginning of the interview. I mentioned that the financial services industry has become an effect of those discussions has been people chase a rate of return. The higher the rate of return, the better.
Okay.
And it becomes so much so that the market can become so exciting that people will take all of their savings ability, all their savings power, and put it on the success or failures of the market. And I'm here to say that let's reel in the reins a little bit, pull the reins back a little bit, and let's not look at rate of return. Let's look at rate of savings. Less than, I'd say 3 to 5 people out of 100 save more than 6% of their income. It isn't rate of return that puts people on a trajectory for financial success. It isn't your employer match. What it is a lack of saving money and preparedness. Saving money improves liquidity, prepares you for life events that can come your way. And even to make matters a little more complicated, most of the time when people are saving money, they're saving it in a retirement plan, and they can't touch it without tax or penalty until they're almost 60 years old.
Yeah.
And so it creates this situation where people are illiquid. And I'm going to go against the grain here and say, don't prepare everything for retirement. Be balanced. Heck, even be focused on today. Make sure you can get out the driveway, experience a car accident, a loss of some kind, and still be okay because you prepared for right now. And you can do that by saving, not chasing rate of return. People's financial success is not tied to rate of return. It's tied to lack of saving, or the other side of the coin, which is saving enough.
Okay. So the problems that they pile up for themselves by not saving are things that they later try and fix with a high rate of return. But that's the after effect. That's the Band-Aid, not
yeah, well said. It's like triage. Okay. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I did.
No, that makes sense. You explained it really well. I appreciate that. Even I can understand it now. Someone like me can understand it, man. The audience can.
That's a smart business guy like you, I don't think.
So what are some things that you see a lot in your day-to-day routine? What are some things that come up pretty frequently?
Okay. Yeah. So I see this a lot, actually. And
okay. Video just experienced a glitch or a hiccup, so I'm just going to re-ask that or repeat some of that back to you. In day-to-day routine, you said that, if I understood correctly, you said that a lot of people take their employer-provided benefit package for granted as if that is the end-all, be-all, and that is the only, that simply following that is all they need to do, and without doing their due diligence.
Right.
Did I catch that?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Exactly. There could be less expenses out there for the individual. There could be better investment options. And speaking strictly about insurance, I know there's better insurance options. Okay. Taking for granted employer benefits is something that I think people should be aware of. Look at the package and compare side by side with an advisor. Spend an hour, do due diligence, and I promise you'll find a way to optimize your situation.
Okay, that's great advice. And then we're getting ready to wrap up. So as we do so, is there a quick tip that you could share that would be universally beneficial to anyone listening, male, female, young, old, that anyone could basically go and apply right now?
Sure. Yeah. Actually, there's two. One, they're both super short and sweet. So the first is start early, even if it's just saving in a boring old checking or savings account. Every 5 years that you delay, you're taking 1/3 of your growing potential off of your financial growth curve. It's pretty incredible. I can show that very easily. The second is preparedness. Be prepared. It doesn't have to be all doomsday. That's not what I'm saying. But paying yourself first by saving and taking care of eliminating the risk factors out of your life, taking that off the table forever, are really powerful actions that will affect you in the short term and long term. Be prepared, because life doesn't really have any bias towards you or anybody else. Things just happen.
Right. All right.
That answers that.
Yeah, Steve, thank you so much. And folks, I'll post this with Steve's contact information if you have some questions about personal finances, business finances, and so forth, especially in regards to preparing for the future. I encourage you to contact Steve and hear what he has to say. Thanks.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. Take care.
You too.